Welcome to the garage. You can hear the rain a lot louder in here than it is outside. It's just barely raining, but the sheet metal roofing. I thought the doors closed means there's an echo in here. So, I just wanted to talk today, and first let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 19 and I'm blind. So, yeah. Um, my grandmother, who I live with, along with my aunt, um, she's going blind in her older age, but she also has some mobility issues caused by diabetes. Um, and one thing someone that doesn't have much experience with people with disabilities will marvel at is how expensive everything is. And don't worry, we think it's expensive too. I mean, for context, a manual wheelchair on the low end is around $100, but can oftentimes be more. And that's not too horrible. But a motorized scooter can be a few $1,000s on the low end and go up to about $30,000 for some of the much more advanced units. A prosthetic leg starts for the more basic ones around $5,000, and for some of the most complex ones, it can go up to around $70,000. Hearing aids. According to a survey done in 2018, the average pair of decent quality hearing aids is about $4,800. And the JAWS screen reading software that I use on a daily basis on my Windows computer is $1,000 for the home version. Why are these prices so expensive? Now, keep this much in mind. This is just theorization from someone. I don't work at any of these companies. I don't even work yet. This is just thoughts. I've done some thinking about this. And I think it just comes down to a couple of basic things. Firstly, is there's a lot of research and development money that needs to go into products for people with disabilities. You can't test these on, you can't test these on normal people. You have to test them on someone with disabilities. So a much more limited testing market. So the testing has to be more long term, which that costs more for one. For two, there's a lot of safety standards you need to apply to your products. You need to make sure that if you're making a mobility scooter, that it won't tip over because you just turn too fast or something. So there's a lot of R&D money that needs to go in to these products. Secondly, is manufacturing costs. The more you manufacture of something, the lower the price is per unit. That's why limited production runs of anything will tend to be more expensive. With some of the more specialized things like prosthetics, it could very well be a one-off run. So that's going to be very expensive as well. Plus, adding to this is, and also mentioning with research and stuff, not all of these products are a one-size-fits-all category. Hearing aids are specifically tuned to match the particular frequency deficiencies on a person-by-person or sometimes even ear-by-ear basis. It's not a one-size-fits-all. That's why you can't just use AirPods as a hearing aid. It's because they're made specifically for an individual person. A prosthetic leg ideally should match the sizing of your other leg, and that's going to vary from person to person. So these are very much not a mass reproducible product in some of the more particular cases. Another aspect would be profit margins. Apple could only make a few bucks profit on every iPhone. I just pulled that number out of thin air. But they can make limited profits because they're going to sell several million of them. It's an in-demand product. People will pay, and so they can make limited profits because they know they'll sell a ton of them. A braille display for blind people, like myself, could cost like $3,000 on the lower end, then it only goes up from there. you're not going to sell 1,000,000 of these things. I'd be surprised to sell more than maybe 20,000 at most. Some of these might be even more limited than that. I'm not sure how the sales figures are for devices, and the companies won't release them. But the fact that you have a very limited market means that in order to be sustainable and to fund your R&D costs, you have to unfortunately sell them at a higher price. And I'm not advocating for it. I mean, I hate the prices just as much as everybody else does. But unfortunately, it's either we pay the prices or we just don't have the products, because the companies would go bankrupt if they sold the products at affordable prices. And there are free alternatives to, well, lower cost or free alternatives to some things. For example, in terms of screen readers, NVDA is an excellent screen reader, and it's not as fully featured as JAWS, but it's also free, and it's free. I'm pretty sure it's open source, and I know it's community driven by volunteers. So that's another aspect of this, is you're going to have limited profit margins. And again, if you're making one-off products, then you don't really know how much you need to spend on something. I'm just shooting in the dark here at this point. And also the cynic in me just kind of thinks the companies are sort of thinking, well, there's government grants to pay for these things, so why not get all the money we can? Because there are government grants for some things, or there are organizations, like in my case, the West Virginia Department of Rehabilitative Services, that could get you equipment, like a Braille display or JAWS software for $1,500, because they got me the professional version, which is $1,500, and it only has 3 computers you can activate it on. Thank you, Freedom Scientific. These are the things. There's lighthouse organizations, all kinds of places across the country and across the world. So the cynic in me just kind of thinks the companies just think, oh, well, we're going to get our money from somewhere, why not make them charge? But it still sucks. And again, I'm not saying I like this. Far from it. I have to, everybody has to pay the prices and all that stuff. And even if you get your stuff from Department of Rehab or whatever organization, still taxpayer money going to it. Or you might have to, purchase things on your own. I'm going to have to send in an APH Mantis Q40 for a Braille display repair. And it's out of warranty, so I'm probably going to have to pay that out of pocket. And with Braille displays in particular, for the blind, they're very expensive because they're very complex devices. Each single dot is a piezoelectric crystal that will expand when a voltage is applied to it and lever up a pin so that you can feel it. There's 8 of these per cell, and the largest one I think I've seen was 80 cells. But a fairly common size for dedicated Braille displays might be 40 cells, or on a portable note taker, maybe 32 cells. But even 40, that's 80 dots across by 4 dots high because of the way Braille cells are shaped. And particularly these are 8 dots, so it's 8 and 4. That's 320 piezoelectric crystals and the pins. And again, these are very, very tiny parts in this case. Braille embossers, when you scale up, they can be tens of thousands of dollars. Again, like I said, prosthetic legs can be as much as $70,000 on their high end. Mobility scooters, like motorized mobility scooters, start at a few $1,000s on the low end and only go up from there. And again, nobody likes the prices, but unfortunately this is just how it is. Without dedicated government subsidies or anything else, there's nothing we can do, and we can't expand production out to make things cheaper because there's not enough demand. Because as much as it sucks to admit it, a disability is not normal. Normal people aren't buying hearing aids and Braille displays and magnifiers and prosthetic legs. Normal people, unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, but normal people don't need them. So unfortunately, this just means the market's going to be limited, and this is just the way it's going to be. It's not going to change anytime soon. If it does, it sure as heck ain't going to be during my lifetime. But, yeah. There you go. Just a random discussion from a fat blind guy at noon on a Friday in a garage in the middle of nowhere. I cannot walk into the shelf that'd be, so I don't have my can out here with me. So I'm gonna head back inside now. So yeah, happy rainy Friday.